Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana is back on Primetime, and we welcome him. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
When it comes to the shutdown, I believe a big heap of blame belongs squarely on the head of the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. He seems to have decided his oath that he took was to the president and not to the people. Why don't you, your Republican colleagues, go to him and say, let us do our job? There are bills that we should be voting on. That's why we're here. Let us do our job.
Well, 2 points. Number one, we're all to blame for this. Every single one of us in Washington responsible for making sure that the government operates. Number two, let me tell you why I don't think it's McConnell's fault. If we pass a bill and the president vetoes it, what have we accomplished? All we've done is given people false hope. And there's no way, and whether you agree or disagree with him, I don't think Mitch is going to budge on this. He is not going to put a bill on the floor that the president is not going to sign.
Do you know for a fact that you couldn't get two-thirds?
No, don't know.
But that's why you should go through with it.
I would doubt we could get two-thirds. No, I would doubt that we could get two-thirds.
You don't want to reopen the government?
I do want to reopen the government. But any way you look at this, from any perspective, because of the circumstances we find ourselves in, that right now there are only two people's opinions who matter: Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi. And many of my look, I hitched a ride back with the president on his plane from New Orleans to D.C. on Monday. I visited with him about an hour on this issue. He didn't have an ugly thing to say, a bad thing to say about Speaker Pelosi. He honestly believes he's doing the right thing. He is not going, for better or worse, and I happen to agree with him, he does not believe you can secure a 1,900-mile border without having, in part, some barriers. And on this issue, he's strong as bear's breath. He's resolute. Now, he's willing to negotiate. He told me that point blank. And here's honestly what I believe. If the president and the speaker are pretty close to this thing right now, if each of them would appoint somebody in whom they have great confidence and tell them to go off for 2 or 3 days, meet, forget about all the politics, and bring me back a plan to help secure this border. You know what I think that plan would say? I think it would say we need to enhance security in our ports of entry.
Yes.
We need more border agents. We need more judges.
Senator,
and we
that's
need,
what it's
in
always
part,
said.
a barrier.
That's what it's always said. They gave him $25 billion over 5 years. The Democrats have always funded physical barriers as part of this. You guys, I mean, you weren't there, but they were doing it in the Obama administration. That's where the bollard fencing comes from. So they've always funded. Right now, they're offering him the money that he put in the budget for it. The $1 billion is what he put in the budget for it.
No, you're making my point here. Mrs. Pelosi, Chuck has, for whatever reason, decided to let the speaker run this show. And I saw it. I saw it on CNN, where it was reported, and the speaker said it was true. The president said, if I open back government and we negotiate, will you consider a wall? She said, no, not $1.
But
now,
she's offered over $1 billion.
And
she's offered over $1 billion, which is what he asked for in the budget. They offered him $25 billion. He walked away from the deal.
Not to be used for a wall, Chris.
Part of it is for the wall. This is about proportionality.
No.
No Democrats say no money for physical barriers. It's all about how much and where and what percentage of the budget
Speaker
it should be.
Pelosi does.
She said that one time in response to a question, but they have $1.3 billion on the table that includes physical barriers. You know this,
She is
Senator.
not going to agree to $1.3 billion. I think if the president today went to her and said, here's the deal, I want $1.3 billion, and I agree we need to do something on our ports of entry. We need immigration judges. We need border agents. We need drones. We need technology. And we need $1.3 billion for a border wall to add to the 600 that are already working. She's not going to accept that, Chris. She said it. And now, if she will accept it, she needs to say so, because it will really further these negotiations.
Well, except he's asking for $5 billion.
I don't speak for the president, but I'm telling you, the president will negotiate on this.
You think he'll take 1.3?
Single solitary. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he will negotiate. Now, here's what I think most Americans think, Chris, and I'll bet you do too. Legal immigration makes this country stronger. Illegal immigration undermines legal immigration. Illegal immigration is illegal. And a border barrier can help stem the tide of illegal immigration.
It will help. But
think
it's
that's
not
what
a
most
panacea.
Americans believe.
We're not a wall away, and everything that
No,
he
of course
defines
not.
in an exaggerated crisis is not fixed by a wall. You want to stop the illegal drugs? Give them the X-rays and the infrastructure at the ports of entry. That's what DHS has said is where they
Absolutely. I
get the
agree
ball.
with that.
You want to stop illegal foot traffic or illegal entry into the country? Attack the airports, because that's what it comes. You want to go after terrorism? Go to the airports. That's where they come. A wall is not a panacea for any of those. He's made it a metaphor.
No,
That's what
no,
she
and
finds
I
immoral.
don't say
that.
that.
The wall is a way to keep out what he
And I don't
defines as
say
a
that.
brown menace. But he does. That's why he shut down the government, because for him, it's all in on this idea of who wins. Me, who wants to keep everybody out and say that they're bad for wanting to come in, or you people who want to do otherwise. And I just don't think it's fair to put this on people's backs. And he did that.
I see your point of view. It's a valid point of view. He is asking for money for an additional 234 miles of walls, barriers. You can call them wang doodles for all I care. I don't know, but it's a barrier. But in addition to that, he has asked for additional border agents, more detention beds,
Right.
Money to help the humanitarian cause. He's asked for more immigration judges. He has never asked for a 1,900 miles wall from sea to shining sea.
Well, he started with that, and he
my
said Mexico would
understanding,
pay
if
for
I'm
it.
wrong, if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I'm wrong. But my understanding of Mrs. Pelosi's position is not one penny for 1 inch of a wall. I think if Mrs. Pelosi stepped up to the plate and said, I will talk about a wall, we could wrap this up in a matter of days.
All right, well, if that's all it takes, it should be done tomorrow, because they've been offering money for this physical barrier for several different iterations of a deal. But we'll see what happens, and hopefully it happens soon, because people are paying a price they should have never had to pay. Senator Kennedy, thank you for talking to me about these pressing matters.
Thanks, Chris.